oh, that was great, blah, blah, blah. What you're trying to do is you want to elicit a conversation. You want people to feel like they're actually interacting with your store, with your brand. And this was, this to me was a little bit too much information, but still, at least she was trying. Some lady had a really bad experience at Rose's, which is a tailor, and she actually went on and she responded as to what the issue was. Might be revealing a little bit too much online, but still it really made the whole situation that much more human and that much more forgivable. So basically what she was saying is that the lady was having issues with her dress, wasn't going on time, and the owner said that she had a family member who died, which it's really sad, but makes you want to consider going to Rose's just because of it. So after you have gone through, you have figured out who your target market is, find out what they're saying, what they're doing. You've figured out this is your strategy. Define your goal and identify success. And what are we trying to do? Are we trying to do reputation management? Are we trying to do customer service, public relations, customer acquisition, customer loyalty, thought leadership? Right now I'm doing a contest with Diamond Center Hotel. And the reason that we're doing the contest is, one, it's going to increase the Facebook likes. And the reason that we're increasing the Facebook likes is so all the other friends see that people like the Diamond Center Hotel. And number two, it's going to qualify all the people participating in the contest. So to enter the contest, we're actually going to ask for their email and whether or not they've actually stayed at the Diamond Center Hotel. That way we have this information to actually send out emails and try to encourage them to stay again. And then thirdly, it's also to generate excitement. So that's what we're doing with the Diamond Center Hotel. So with that, our success is, 33% increase in likes, and then having a whole bunch of emails that we can now market to and knowing who they are. So if your goal is awareness, it's web, what are your could be web traffic, could be web traffic referrals, search volume. If your goal equals sales, it's like how do people actually go through your website and actually make the purchase from your marketing efforts. And that's what's great about Google Analytics is you can set goals on your websites. So if they're coming from your Facebook page to your website, you can then track where they're actually coming from and what efforts are most successful for you. Does that make sense? Okay. And if your goal is loyalty, how much time are they spending on your website? How many times are they mentioning you? What's your share of voice? How many people are actually reviewing your service and giving you glowing remarks? But ultimately, what we're using social media for is to make advocates, make people want to talk about us, make them want to share information about us, wanting to conversate about us online. And the thing is, you cannot control social media. I don't know if you guys know what Comcast is. They're like GCI down, and with customer service, probably even worse, which is really difficult to do, I think. Yeah. A guy was having issues with his cable, and he called the technician to come and fix it. The technician was put on hold for so long, for 45 minutes, that he actually fell asleep on the couch while he was on hold. And this got over 1.5 million views, and it's just a guy sleeping on a couch. How do you think that works for reputation management? So you cannot control social media. I know a lot of people have actually, when I gave this presentation a year ago, people were really fearful about social media. That's changed. People know that you cannot control it, so why not be a part of it? And now Comcast has this Twitter account, and this is actually all for customer service, and it's cut down their response rate by 60%, because how much can you actually complain in 145 characters, or whatever the amount of characters is? And what they've done really well is they've attached a human face. It had like company buy-in. They They figured out what their success metric is, which was how fast can they respond to the Twitter issues. And they exist where the conversations exist online with the customers. So those are some fine points. What I have not done is not talked about setting up a Twitter account, a Facebook account, Flickr account, or LinkedIn account. What I have done is laid down a framework that involves listening, knowing your audience, knowing the messaging that works for your audience, and attaching goals and success metrics. If you have any questions, please, I'll be around here, or if we have time, we can answer them right now.
Ross?
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's it. And last point is social media is not necessarily free. It does take time and effort. Don't ever, say, oh, I do social media because, it's a free way. But it's going to take time. It takes effort. It takes constant monitoring. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Since you said that you can't control social media, there's a company out there that advertises on the NPR station here called Reputation Defender.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do to try to control social media? If people have written nasty things about you or your business, what does that company do to counter the social media things that you might not like out there? Are you familiar with them?
No, unfortunately I'm not.
Does anybody know? I've heard the ads.
Well, there's something called Google washing. That's where basically if someone posts a bad review, they'll follow it up with like 6 really positive reviews. That's considered not good social media, because it's insincere. But that way the bad review gets knocked down. Anyone else? Say again?
Google metrics. How do you set up Google?
Oh, Google Analytics? Yeah, so with Google Analytics is free. If you have a website, you basically just go online, type in Google Analytics, and then it walks you through the steps on setting it up, and it's really easy.
Kind of the same question towards Facebook. And if you have a business Facebook account, you can go on and look at all the metrics and who looks at your stuff. And is that something that's included for free, or do you have to pay Facebook for that?
That's all free. And then as far as actually setting up a Google advertising campaign, it's real simple, real easy. That's where I got all the numbers for the registered users. I think Facebook advertising is fantastic because it's relatively inexpensive. And if it's done well, it makes all your friends aware of your business. It's honestly, I would put that above. I do Google advertising for Fine Point, and I have gotten business from it. And I am a business to business, so that's pretty remarkable, I think.
In Google Analytics, where it's measuring the social interaction on your website, what is that exactly? I'm just kind of curious, because I don't know what that is. It says it's your social interaction. It gives you some kind of score or something.
Yeah, in all honesty, it's been a while since I've looked at that, but I think it was how many people are actually mentioning it elsewhere.
So it probably is just measuring how many people are talking about your website on Twitter and Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, that was weird because I didn't know that Google was tracking or can see stuff on Facebook and Twitter. So, yeah, just curious.
Yeah, it's great. It's honestly, if you don't have analytics set up of any sort on your web page, you should do that now. Anyone else? Bueller? All right, great. Thank you.
Ross, thank you very much. All right, now we have a special announcement from our Chief Encouragement Officer, Alan Johnston.
It's my distinct pleasure to introduce Lucinda Mahoney. You've probably heard about the Angel Fund that the municipality recently set up, working with the Federal Reserve. And Lucinda did an amazing job. And the essence of this is really important. We're the only state in the United States that doesn't have an Angel Fund. What an angel fund is getting people, accredited investors, folks that have done well in the community, investing in businesses they don't own. And so, folks here, how many people are looking at starting businesses here? One of the most valuable things you can do, and it's free, is to find folks that have been there, done that, in the fields that you want to go in, even if you don't know them.
Okay.
If you're out there, and you're putting passion and time into it, asking them, would you mind giving me some advice? How did you do it? These folks are looking, the fastest growing group in Alaska is over 50-year-old. The ones that have done well are looking for relevance. And investing in you is important to them. They sit around, they'll drink their wine, they all feel good, patting each other on how smart they are, seeing you succeed. All you need to do is ask for this angel fund to be successful. It'll only be successful if we can help those people that have the capacity to help you to get engaged in the community. It's not they don't want to do it, they don't know how to do it. It'll speed up the process as far as you understanding that asking for advice is one way of getting money. If you ask for money, you get advice. You ask for advice, you get money. There's a process. First you do is you ask for advice. That'll start really building a stronger community. And with that, what Lucinda will be talking about is some funds to help empower and nurture that. So we are so close where we can start sculpting our future instead of waiting for somebody else to sculpt it for us. It's going to be the entrepreneurs and the students right now, they're going to be tasking our future. And I think what Lucinda's doing is a phenomenal legacy for the community if we can get people engaged in it. It's just not just it's not going to be just the mentors or the been there, done that. It's going to be it's the entrepreneurs that initiate asking these folks to help. And then it's a win-win for everybody. And it's my pleasure to shut my mouth and turn it over to Lucinda. Thank you.
Well, hello, everyone. I am super excited to present to you what we were recently awarded by the Federal Department of Treasury. And that was a $13.2 million allocation to be used by entrepreneurs, both early stage and mid stage small business type equity investments in the city of Anchorage. And it is super exciting because, as Alan indicated, we were the first city in the United States to receive this allocation. In other states, it was the state government that actually received it, like their Department of Commerce or Department of Economic Developments. But here, it was the city of Anchorage. And so what I want to do today is really quickly go through the presentation that I delivered to the Assembly in order to get our elected Assembly members to approve the receipt of these funds. Just as a heads up, the Assembly approved it unanimously. And one of our Assembly members is actually here with us right now, and it's Chris Birch. And he was real instrumental, I believe, in terms of getting everyone to support this so that we could move forward and really start to make a difference in small business in our community. So what I did with the Assembly was first just went through what were the goals of our program. And these are the goals that the mayor and I had developed and worked on together. Then provided, and I'll do this with you really quickly because I know I only have 15 minutes, but what's the background of the program? You know, what is a venture capital program? You know, what are angel investors? As Alan indicated, there's a real gap in our community in regard to that. What is the criteria? So as I go through that, as entrepreneurs, think about, you know, could you be eligible for this program? And would you be able to submit an application to receive some of the funds? I'll talk a little bit about how we plan to administer the program, timeline, and then if there's some time, I'll be able to address some questions. But anyways, to just go right into the program, you know, what we've identified is that the mayor and his administration, his goal is to strategically invest this $13.2 million in our community so that we can spur economic development. He really is focused on promoting entrepreneurship, small business, fostering innovation, providing capital, and creating jobs. And that is really important because, as we all know, and we're coming out of our recession, our economic recession, things are starting to look up. But there's still a problem in terms of small businesses and startups being able to obtain capital. Banks are really hesitant to lend right now. There is still a liquidity type crisis going on, particularly as it relates to small business. You may not yet have the EBITDA multiples or the cash flow to be strong enough financially to get money from banks. And so this program is an opportunity to provide some of that equity startup money, or if you're already a small business and you're growing and you need some additional capital for growth, then this is a program that can help you to continue to expand so that we can also create jobs in our community. So just a little bit of background about it. Not that I want to go into a lot of the detail, but this is a federal program that was created by Congress through the Jobs Act in 2010. And the allocation that we received was based on the net job losses between 2008 and 2009. But what was really great is that there were minimums set. And so we attained the minimum because, as you know, our job losses weren't that bad here. Our economy did quite well through the recession. Our job losses weren't that bad, but we ended up getting the minimum, and the minimum allocation is the same as what many states in the United States got. So we got, as a small city, 300,000 population city, the same as some large states received. So that was really a great win for us. The feds had set up 5 different programs. We ended up applying for the venture capital program, largely because of Alan's efforts in terms of really communicating to the administration about how much of a gap there was in regard to equity financing for angel investments and for startups. So anyways, we were awarded this allocation at the end of January. And now we are moving forward in terms of trying to get it implemented. So I'm going to focus the presentation now more on what could be useful to you, and to talk about what are the types of investments that are eligible. First of all, it is an Anchorage-based allocation, meaning the economic benefit associated with a recipient who receives this funding really needs to reside in the city of Anchorage. However, we were given a special waiver by the Department of Treasury where the mayor can waive that if an organization shows just that a significant economic benefit is in Anchorage, and also there are ancillary benefits in other cities like Fairbanks and Juneau. So if you have a company that you plan to start up and you anticipate you'll have employees in different cities in Alaska, as long as the primary city and the primary economic benefit is here, then we would consider that you would be eligible for the program. The program, in order to be an eligible applicant, your company has to have less than 500 employees. And I know as startups that seems like that's really large, but from the federal perspective, that is what constitutes a small business. The other criteria were that our investment, meaning the municipality's investment, has to be less than $5 million. Well, our first allocation is $4 million of the $13 million. So we don't even have that much money to give out and distribute. So our allocation levels will be significantly less than what was defined at the federal level. As a matter of fact, when we did our application, we went through and we did a lot of analysis to try to figure out how many deals really would be fundable here and at what dollar amount. And we came up with about 50 deals at $850,000. Now that is the average deal size that we're anticipating, but of course there's going to be some that will be significantly smaller and hopefully others that will be larger. How can the proceeds be used? Pretty much in any way that you would present to us. Let's say you come and you present your program to us. We're not going to define how you use the proceeds specifically. What we're going to be more focused on is what you've learned about earlier today here, and that is your business plan solid? What do your financials look like? Is it a good financial plan? What is your idea and what is the need in the community for that idea? All of the criteria that was discussed earlier. What is your social media? What's your marketing? We will be evaluating all of that. And the folks that will be doing the evaluation of that and the selecting of applicants who will actually be funded is a group of technical financial experts that the mayor and I are putting together. And so what we're doing is we are inviting some of our top bankers in the community who have a lot of experience in terms of looking at applications for loans and really quickly being able to determine, yeah, I think that's a go. Or I think, no, probably you need more work in this area. So we're going to have that committee look at the applicants. As an applicant, you would come and you would have the opportunity to do a 15-minute presentation to this advisory committee, and then they will rank, they will score the presentation. They will have had your business plan in advance. They will read the business plan. They will score it, and then they will make a recommendation to the mayor and to myself for funding. And then the mayor and I will have the final approval on who gets the money and which businesses, will be awarded grants. Anyways, the structure, I just said the word grant, and actually I shouldn't have used that word grant, because really what we are doing is we will be looking at multiple ways to make these investments. And I think I have a slide on that, and it's right here, yes. So this gives you an idea of what our vision is for the program. As I had indicated, we were allocated $13 million, $13.2 million. Of that, we can use $482,000 for administrative overhead. So for example, I right now have a job posting for a program manager. We need someone to come in. They will work directly for me to manage the program, do outreach, come and talk to groups like you to get the word out in the city that this funding is available. But what that does is it leaves $12.7 million left to be distributed to entrepreneurs. And the way we envision doing this is to set up two different methods for distribution. The first method would be a direct equity investment in a small business. And the second method would be an investment in an angel fund who invests in small businesses. So one of the goals of the program was to strengthen this environment that we have in Anchorage. There's kind of a gap. There's a lot of angel investing going on, but it's rather informal. So we're trying to get it formal and try to get more angel groups here so that small businesses have more sources of organizations to go to for funding. One of the challenging criteria associated with receiving this money is the 10-to-1 leverage. And what the Federal Treasury Department defined is that in order for an organization to receive any of this funding, they have to show that this funding will generate an additional 10-to-1 leverage. And what that means is, so let's say we, the city, decide to invest in your project and we invest $1 million. What we'll have to be able to see in your application is that you, over the next 5 years, have a reasonable high likelihood that you will be able to generate through growth and through just other investors being interested in your product an additional $3 million in equity and then maybe additional debt. And these numbers this is just strictly an example. This could be 2, this could be 4, but in total, we have to be able to show the Federal Treasury that $1 million generated an additional $10 million in either debt or equity in your entrepreneurial startup company, such that there's a 10-to-1 leverage. And this is the part of the program that is going to be very challenging. And we know that from the municipality's perspective, but that's why we're going to be relying on creative entrepreneurial thinkers like you to come up with these products and companies that will enable this significant of a leverage. From the Department of Treasury's perspective, in regard to their allocation to us, the 13 million, they're anticipating that we will be able to generate $130 million in new small business development as a result of this program. This isn't something we control. This is what was defined to us by the Department of Treasury, and then we'll need to be able to report on it. So we will be audited by the Department of Treasury, and so whoever actually receives our money, we will be in constant contact with you to see how well you're doing in regard to meeting this leverage requirement. You know, this is a really big opportunity for us. Other states have narrowly defined how they will use the money. For example, one state has said that they're going to use their money just for technology projects. But the mayor and I, we've been talking about this, as a matter of fact, just as recent as yesterday, and we have decided we are not going to narrow it at all. It is going to be completely open. You know, any type of business idea is going to be eligible to apply. And so I think that that was really exciting, and it's really a commitment on his part to give everybody an opportunity to be able to apply for the money. You know, there's the business plan competition that's coming up here in April. We'll be looking at that to see, you know, will there be some good opportunities that come out of that program that are fundable? And will they apply for some of the funds for the 49 State Angel Fund? And we really hope so. The reason why this slide is up here is because in the application process, it was really interesting because we had to convince the Department of Treasury that we had people in Alaska with ideas and that we had entrepreneurs here. I mean, they were saying to us, do you really have new businesses that could use this money? And we're like, are you kidding? Yes. Just let us try, because it was very it was challenging to convince them to deliver the money to the city. And so now the ball's in your court, folks like you. It's up to you now to bring your business plans to us so that we can get this money in our economy and get it working and creating jobs. That's the whole goal. So I had mentioned the governance and administration. I mean, this is where we are right now in regard to the project. We were awarded the money at the end of January, and now we have 90 days to get the program set up. I mentioned that I'm looking for a program manager, and what this person will do is write and define what are